Why, hello, lords and ladies, and welcome to another story time at Fairy Tales and Toka. So this fellow commenter right here has asked for the story of Cinderella. Now, we have done a Cinderella story before, but it was the original. But in today's roleplay, we'll be covering the story of Cinderella in the Disney version. And I would like to make a few disclaimers before we start. I haven't seen the movie in a really long time, but I know pretty much most of it, so please do not get mad or come for me if I skip lines or any sort of thing such as that. More than likely, I'll probably be narrating the story maybe, but yeah. If you want to see the real story of Cinderella before the Disney story, then make sure to go to my Disney Princess playlist and go all the way down to the bottom until you see the Cinderella story. It is by the Brothers Grimm, and technically it's called Ashpuddle, or, the other Cinderella, except it's a little friendlier because their story is a little bit more gruesome, so yeah. Well, without further ado, let's go and introduce our friend Cinderella. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there once lived a merchant with his little daughter Ella. And one day when Ella was a bit older, the merchant decided to get married. The new stepmother was called Lady Tremaine, who had two young daughters named Drizella and Anastasia. And the daughters were quite spoiled and got whatever they wanted. Eventually, the merchant had passed away. And from that very day was when Ella's life changed for the worst. Cinderella was physically abused, and she was also mentally abused and emotionally abused by Lady Tremaine and her stepsisters. She was then forced to be a servant girl in her own home, and she took on all of the house chores. She was forced to cook for them, but was not allowed to eat at the table with them. She also had to do the laundry. Everything was stripped away from Cinderella, and now she was forced to sleep in the attic. And she had to answer to their every beck and call. And because of her dirty household chores, she eventually was called Cinderella. And now our story begins. Oh, good morning. Well, aren't you a darling thing? I had a dream last night. It was about a prince and a big grand ball. Oh yes, he was quite handsome. Why, I can't tell you that, otherwise it won't come true. Why, of course. You can help me get ready, though. Yes, of course. Let's go. Make sure you come back for part 2 and see what happens next.